What's going on, y'all? It's your boy DJ, Mr. CEO. I'm here with my man, Mr. Everyday, with the Next Level Podcast here at SUNY Albany on WCDB 90.9. Ready to get this show rocking. Let's go.
So what you trying to do and who you really want to be? Everybody wants a shot to be the top in this industry. So what you trying to do and who you really want to be? Everybody wants a shot to be the top in this industry. I follow me, never walk in another man's shoes. Fake we good when you know we ain't brothers. I set my goals, aim high. I'm shooting for the sky, and I'm never giving up or quitting till the day I die. Seen a lot of them come and a lot of them go. The pedigree of champions is the best in show, but with no dough, you won't even make it with light bread. No small time, but just gonna get
the one and only, the one and only DJ, Mr. CEO. Let me get some applause.
I get used to that.
Yeah, he said, I can get used to that, he says.
Official Mr. CEO, you know what I mean?
CEO, you heard? Yeah, man. CEO, man, it's great that, I appreciate you making the time to, to come up here. I know you got a busy schedule, you're traveling in and out of town, man, and just, doing a lot of things, and you got a new residency. You know what I'm saying? You're in a new town and all that, man. You know.
Miami life is nice.
Yeah, I bet. What's the weather like?
Oh man, listen. If I could trade anything, I would take upstate summers compared to Miami summers.
Right.
That 100 degrees every day.
Right.
Or it rains on one side of the block and it's sunny on the other side. The weather's just, it's hurricane season right now, so you never know.
Ugh.
Yeah, summertime in Miami is always hurricane season.
Yeah,
but,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've been down to Miami like a million times, and but that was the one thing that always bugged me out was how it could be raining on one side of the block and not on the other. Like, bro, are you under the cloud right now? And I'm over here like
my first week there. Went to the store. It's like, oh, it's a nice day. I'm gonna walk. Man, I picked the wrong side of the street to walk on because it was pouring rain, but the other side it was bright and sunny. I said, yo, this makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know, what I mean? It's the tropical, but it's just like, this don't make no sense.
So CEO, man, we're gonna get right into this interview, man. We gonna talk like we don't even know each other. You know what I mean? Like I just met you yesterday. You feel me?
Let's make it work.
let's make it happen. So let's start right out. Like, where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in New Rochelle, adopted, and then came up to Albany, and then.
You said don't try to sneak that by. You said adopted.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you adopted. Did you ever at any point in time find out who your biological family was?
Not yet. We that's gonna be something I'm gonna work on.
You better work on it soon. We just had a COVID.
Well, I survived that.
Yeah, but we don't know if they did. So like, you know what I mean? He might want to check on DNA ancestry. Somebody get on the horn.
Oh man.
They might be coughing right now as we speak somewhere, bro.
Oh man, listen, I hope not, because listen, if they cough right now, I might have to wait a little bit longer.
Right. So yeah, man. So you adopted. So what's the family like? So this is mom, a couple adopted you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it a black couple or white couple? White couple.
No,
so
black.
what caused them to feel like they wanted to? Was it that they couldn't have kids or?
No,
or
it's just from bits and pieces of the story I know. It's just that my birth mother was a member of my godfather's church.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever her, livelihood wasn't fit, deemed for a child. So they put me up for adoption, and then the story was told that, the powers of be made it work that, my parents now were able to adopt me because, my dad was a pastor. So.
He was a God-fearing man. That's what it was. We gotta get one. We gotta save one. We gotta save one, man. That's powerful, man. That's a bit of backstory that I did not even know. So see, it took me all these years to learn that. I should have interviewed you sooner. So yeah, that's peace, man. Like, God bless you, your family and everything, and for doing something righteous, and because we don't know, like a lot of these kids, they be abandoned, and these could grow up to be tomorrow's criminals and tomorrow's issues for society. So the fact that that they did that, and then you become the productive man that you become today, that's a testament to God in their life. You know what I mean?
Definitely appreciate it.
Now, did you have any other siblings?
Yeah, I got birth, not sure, but I do have a brother and sister.
Okay.
So I'm the baby out the.
So you're the baby.
The group.
So how did they feel about you? How was it like growing up, and did they ever treat you differently?
Growing up, we was great. You know what I mean? And then after my mother passed, I really ain't talked to him too much. But life goes on, and I roll with the people that roll with me, and it's still love for everybody. But like they say, not everybody's meant to go for the journey and the ride. So
Understood. So you started out, you said again, in New Rochelle, and then from there, where'd you go?
Came up to Albany.
So you did come up to Albany after New Rochelle.
Yeah, I was a baby from about 1 to 3. I was in Albany. Then from 3 to 6 went to Buffalo. Then 6 to 10 we were in Yonkers. And then when I got to about 7th grade, I was in between the New York City and Albany going to school.
Right. So you went to high school where?
I went to first year. I went to Bishop McGinn.
Okay. Yeah, no,
and then ended up going to summer school. And my pops was like, "Yeah, so you're gonna end up going to Redemption Christian Academy."
Oh, you went to Redemption?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm an RCA.
I got a legendary basketball player for them.
Oh, we got a bunch. Listen, my 4 years of high school, well, 3 years of high school there. A couple of my roommates. Went to the Final Four. All scholarship stuff like that. But RCA was interesting. It was fun.
So you went to Redemption for how many years?
I was 3 years.
3 years. Okay. So you graduated from Redemption?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So let's not get too far ahead because we'll go back. So at what point in time did you start to get into music? Like, so now you're like a teenager. Did you get into music before high school?
No, I was in music as a little kid, because my dad being a pastor, his thing was like, oh, you're gonna play the piano, so that way I don't have to pay somebody to play the organ or the piano on Sunday. Keep the money in the family.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then probably about 7th, 8th grade, being in Yonkers, growing up, my dad was...
Not to cut you off, but Dad said this adoption ain't free, boy.
Right.
You gonna go this.
You know what I mean? But having the father I had, he was as a pastor, he's always doing stuff for the community. Yeah. So, he's worked with the governor, the presidents.
He's still alive now?
No, he passed 2016.
Okay, sorry.
Appreciate
that's
that.
Right, I did. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
But being that, he was one of the bigger pastors in Yonkers. I ended up being on the sets like The Preacher's Wife with Denzel, with Houston. I had friends in Runyon Heights, so was able to, kind of hang out in the projects, even though, my pastor's like, you don't really know nothing about it. I'm like, listen, my friends is over here. Got to kind of be around to watch the Rough Rider movement, like with Mary J. Blige and DMX.
Yeah,
because my dad founded a thing called Reaps.
Yes.
And it was a nonprofit. So what they did, they would go into the black communities and buy up the property. And instead of letting the contractors come in and renovate and sell it to, upscale, it was low-income housing. So, that kept me kind of, in the projects in the hood for me. My dad was working. I was always hanging out with my dad, so I'd go to the park while he's, handling meetings, and, that's just what it was.
Wait, because the good thing about that is it like, when you having that diversity, because I think, like, sometimes, like, what happens when a kid, like, when parents come from the hood and they grow up in this adversity and then they come up and they establish themselves and they get in, like, upper middle class, they kind of don't want their kids to, to have that, but you kind of still need to get a taste of that so you can have that balance, because then when you go to school, like when you're in a public school situation or setting, or even out in the world, you're getting bullied by these kids that are more aggressive.
I didn't last in public school, not because I couldn't handle myself.
Right.
It was just I was in private school most of coming up. So when I got into PS16, I'm like, oh, there's no uniform. There's really no rules like that. All you got to do is just kind of show up for class. So like the first 3 weeks I was in public school acting, and my dad was like, nope, nope. But no, my dad was from Roxbury. And then my mom.
Wait, he was from Roxbury?
Yeah, my pops was from Roxbury. And my mom's was from Warwick. So, both sides, different sides of the track.
Wow.
So, when I was with my moms, I go to Warwick and Middletown to, hang with my grandfather. And, Middletown works more rural farm. And then, holidays, summer, we'd be in Roxbury on, Chester. And
you was making a lot of moves, man.
Listen, I'm blessed for. I told you, I don't regret my upbringing.
No, that's a very well-rounded upbringing. So, the DJ thing, you know, you're in high school. When did you first pick up your first set of turntables? Like, did somebody gift them to you?
No.
Did you
I wish. Freshman year at McGinn, my boy Andrew Brock, hope he's doing well. Started hanging out. I wasn't really popular in high school, except for when it came to sports. But happened to be hanging out with him. We were walking down Lark Street, and there was Music Shack on Central. So we went in to go get records. Yeah, went in to go get records. I'm like, you know, he's a white kid. I'm just like, why are you buying records? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I DJ. So I'm like, okay. We started hanging out at his house or whatnot. And I'm like, okay, you know, it's like, if you can do this,
right?
You know, I can do it too. My dad was just like, I'm not spending $1,000, $1,200 on no turntables so you can scratch up my vinyl.
Right.
So I kept, you know, egging him like, well, it's not fair because that's all I've been music. That's all I really want to do. So finally, he was like, all right, give me one good semester of good grades.
Right.
That was the only time, again, I made the honor roll. Because as soon as Christmas came and I got to unwrap, and it was the Newmark Christmas Battle Pack edition. It was XL 100 belt drive.
Yeah, the belt drive.
Because, you know, my dad's pastor. My dad my dad wasn't really into, you know, music and DJ
12s.
equipment. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting direct drive turntables. No.
He didn't get the memo.
He didn't get the memo. So I opened it up. I was thankful because, you know what I mean? But it was two Newmark XL 100 belt drives with a mixer.
I wonder why you so good today.
A mixer.
You started out on belt drive.
And it came with a VHS tape. I think it was either Red Alert or Kid Capri that taught you how to mix and beat juggle. And then you're supposed to buy the battle pack that came with the direct drives. And they taught you how to scratch with the VHS.
Wow.
So that's how I started.
To scratch with the VHS. Yeah, I didn't even know they had that back then.
Yeah, my first gig that Christmas was my dad's Christmas party when he had everybody come over for Christmas.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what was the first time you ever?
So yeah, it was those, and then a friend of his gave me a Newmark mixer that was cast iron, and you had to duct tape it because if you mixed and scratched the wrist the wrong way, it would, you know what I mean?
You're gonna cut your wrist.
Right. And then my brother gave me his dual deck cassette decks to record on mixtapes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever want to be a rapper?
No. I write. You know what I mean? But for me, I've been around it, so it's like to each his own. But you really have to be able to digest that. Like, you know what I mean? I always was more like behind the scenes. Like, I know how to play piano. I know how to write. I can, you know what I mean, executive produce. I can help you direct music video. You know what I mean? But as far as going to the booth, I've done it a couple of times. I'm just like, I do it for fun. But, you know, as far as being an actual artist, it's like, nah.
Yeah, there's a lot that comes with it, man. Like, it's not all glamorous the way people think it is.
Right, because you like me, you wear, you know what I mean, multiple different hats and everything.
Almost
so
every hat in
trying
the
to
game.
balance an executive and an artist. Imagine me trying to balance being a DJ, everything I do, and then be an artist. Kind of, it's just like
I'm going through it right now. That's why there's no days off right now. There's no days off. Family's upset. Everybody's like, you know what I mean? No one's getting any time. No one's getting time.
Right.
Like, but only person getting time by little man, and that's because I coach all his teams.
Right. So it's like, listen, I'm gonna coach you, but at the same time, this is my excuse to get away real quick.
Right. So I asked this question to another DJ, but I'm gonna pose this to you because you've started out on vinyl, whereas like a lot of these newer DJs, they only know this little baby technology like that even your grandmother can DJ now because of. So, what do you prefer? Do you prefer vinyl over just the regular control decks and all that now? That the way that everything is currently set up?
Honestly, no. I'm pretty fine with the way the DJ game went. The problem isn't the equipment. And for all my OG DJs, I know y'all gonna get mad at me when I say this because y'all always get mad at me. But it's really their fault for why the DJ game is going the way it is because we're really the only business that doesn't have a union. So if there was a DJ union that was started back in the 80s or the 90s, because it's just like,
wow,
it's
you know,
just,
that's a serious
you know what I mean?
statement.
But it's just like, if you ever sit up, you know, we sit on these conference calls. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
So before something comes out, there's a conference call or there's an email. And people always want to throw the email out or not take the phone call because we knew this was coming. But it's like, if the Red Alerts, the DJ Scratches, the Jazzy Jeffs would have got together and created a union, you could then regulate what the price market could be. So, hey, you want to DJ in a club all night for $100? This is the level
Right.
that we're going to stamp you at.
Right.
But you can't be out here calling yourself a professional DJ.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I remember they had a list. Like, a radio DJ could charge $600, $700.
Right.
A tour DJ could charge $1,200.
Right.
A corporate DJ and so forth.
Right.
And then they made fun of it because the bottom was like, oh, your bedroom DJ is charging. But it's in every...
bedroom DJ.
I had a conversation today. It's the changes in every industry. The only problem is this industry doesn't have something to protect it. There's no
Right.
union.
Yeah, it's not being regulated, and they don't want it to be because if that really was something that the powers that be wanted, they would have implemented
Right.
it. But it works better the way that they can do it. How
But
they
just
finesse it.
because there's laptops and hard drives and controllers doesn't mean that it's a handicap. Because I know DJs right now who have a controller and a laptop and suck.
Right.
The
Right.
equipment doesn't make the DJ.
You're right.
And all you really gotta do is pay attention. Go to a party. Is the DJ just sound like the jukebox because he's railroading the next song, or is he actually out there getting busy?
Right. Right.
The
Right.
problem is, and I had to learn how to not do it. But when you start focusing on what the next DJ is doing, that's the issue. Oh, well, I started in the 80s with turntables. Okay, so since you've been DJ since the 80s, it should be simple. It's a simple
It
transition.
should be even easier for you.
But the problem is, a lot of older DJs don't want to get with the time. Like, I've seen, Young Wise. I've seen Biz. I done seen DJ Blade. Flex, Kid Capri. The list goes on. No matter what the music industry does, they gravitate. They adjust. Some people just can't adjust.
Right.
And that's what it is. Every day the game is changing, so you have to change with it.
Right.
And the only people who get mad are the people who don't know how to change, with the guard.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but if you ask me, I love vinyl, but between having to travel and listen,
It's too much, bro.
I went to Seattle 2 years ago to DJ a hip hop festival, and to take my turntables and the mixer on JetBlue, it cost me $800 one way. So I will take the controller and be able to walk onto a plane, sit down for free.
Truthfully speaking, I would have never done it if I had to carry crates and do all the extra stuff. Because like at the time, before I even got into like being on the controllers or anything, I had my first rhyme partner was a DJ. So I used to help him with the stuff, you know what I mean? And that was enough for me. You know what I mean? I couldn't even imagine 4, 5, 6, 7 crates got to be carried in, loading the car up. And the decks are bigger because you're carrying real turntables. Like, that's just too much.
It's the appreciation. For me, it's understanding the craft and where it started.
Right.
So I appreciate it, but everything changes. But if you notice, everything recycles too, because now they're starting to go back to Barnes and Nobles is selling vinyl.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
FYE is back to selling vinyl. So it's just, you just gotta, move with the times.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, it's definitely about progression. I think like there's a lot of great things that come from the technology. You know what I mean? And there's a lot more people that are actually getting a check that would have not been getting a check if it wasn't for the technology changing the way it did. It opened a lot of doors and lanes for us.
It made it cool because my 5th grade teacher, I hope she's still alive and doing well, told me I had a better chance of dribbling a basketball than being a radio DJ. Because, in 5th grade, we had to do a music project. It was like create your own radio show. And she thought I cheated because my show was just, because I grew up around radio, music, and all that. So doing a radio show for a music project, that's a deal. But she's like, oh, well, that's what you want to be. You want to be a DJ? You want to do radio? You're not going to be successful. There's no money in that. And I'm just like, now looking back, it's like, if you're still alive, you're probably still teaching 5th grade, and that's probably like what 40,
You're still in the
50,000
right.
a year compared to
Absolutely. She's not.
But I thank you for that. I thank you for that speech because
Right.
that's all the motivation I needed. You know what I mean?
Right. You could really make that 6 months or a quarter if you really go hard.
You can make listen.
So meanwhile she's still struggling. In that same position. You need to go visit her.
Tell the next kid, you're better off jumping. Just shut up and dance.
So I asked another DJ this question as well. How would you rank yourself amongst all the DJs in this region? Would you say top 5 dead or alive?
I wouldn't even put myself in that category in that conversation because one thing I really don't like the top 5s, the top 10s because it's just based on people's opinion and popularity kind of a thing. I don't do popularity contests. I do am I booked and busy or not.
Right.
I'm booked, busy, I'm traveling. So, top 10, top 20, top 5. I wouldn't say top 5 because you got people like True Master, who's helped me out. Young Wise, Mr. C, DJs, both Supremes, Hot 99 Supreme and DJ Supreme.
Right.
The Wiz Hoffers, the DJ Rookies, the Ace Boogies,
man, we've had a lot of guys have a good run.
The Selector Freeze, like the list goes on and on and on and on. So I'm more like the fact that my name comes up in conversations, I'm good with that. And at the end of the day, I'm the director of entertainment for the Black Expo. It's the biggest event.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were director of entertainment.
I'm the main DJ for So You Think You Got Talent.
Right.
So I just love my work.
Right.
So now if someone wants to put me in a top, I appreciate you.
That's how I feel too. Like I have my own niche, I have my own lane. I'm good. I'm not really worried about how everybody else is categorized. And if I get honored, if I get respected for certain things, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's about being humble and just getting to it. You know what I mean? And letting your work speak for itself.
And it's just understanding. Where you sit at. So I can sit at a table with the top 5.
Right.
I can sit at the table. If you had a top 100 DJs of New York State, I can sit at the table with them because I have conversations with DJ enough.
They're aware of who you are.
Right.
They know who you are. They respect you. It's the respect. It's just like,
am I going to waste time and energy trying to be in the top 5? Or when my time is done, my resume can speak for itself.
Now here's what I wanted to kind of piggyback on it. Do you feel like the DJ is appreciated in today's hip hop culture, whereas before the DJ was like truly the focal point of the party? You know what I mean? Do you feel it's the same love, or do you feel like DJs are getting slighted?
Oh, I think it's a two-way sword. It just depends on the DJ because and then the game's changed. So it's like DJs now feel like they need the artists need them. And the artists feel like the DJs need them compared to, the dope artists back in the day had the dope DJ, and it was a unit. So it's more just like we as a culture need to get back to the foundation.
I agree. I feel like there's a huge disconnect between the artist and the DJ. And if a lot more artists understood that you need to bring the DJ community close to you because they're breaking records. They're breaking records in the club. They're breaking records on radio. They're breaking records in the strip club. There's a disconnect right now.
Now, also, DJs have to take some responsibility for the blame too because you have a lot of DJs who aren't DJs.
I was having this conversation the other day as well.
There's a lot of DJs who aren't DJs. I said, I don't
put the DJ moniker in front
So
of
what
my
happens is an artist will go to a certain DJ thinking that that's the type of DJ who will push an artist. Like there's some DJs, and it's no disrespect, there's some DJs who are just happy having their name on a flyer and a hole in the wall DJ.
Right.
As an artist, you have to know what DJs to approach. It's part of the game. Not every DJ cares about pushing artist music. At the same time, you have to have the right music to push. And sometimes you can't just walk up to the DJ in the club and be like, yo, can you play my song right now? Because if your song messes my setup and my set, bro, me and you're going to be beefing.
That's another thing. You have to know where your record, like sonically, stylistically? Is this even like you're trying to give a like you know the first time that I experienced that? I was in Skyline. Remember Skyline?
Yep.
And I was
Taking it back.
I was managing Black Rob. He had just dropped the War Report, and I was trying to get a record played for him, and so I went to them and I was like, "Yo, I need you to play one of Rob's records," and he was like, "Which one?" And I think I forgot which one he had out at that time. It wasn't really a club record. It was just a Black Rob record.
Right.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, he don't really have any records right now that's going to fit this scene right now. And I looked at him, and I couldn't answer the question. And I was just like, wow. And then it made me realize, like, you got to account for that. As an artist, you have to understand, you have to make a record for every situation. If I'm at a bar mitzvah, and I'm a DJ, and I'm feeling you, and you're like, yo, you rap, give me a record. It has to be a record that makes sense for this audience. So you have to be diverse in your creativity. You can't be just one-track minded. Or you can have different mixes of a record. Your record may not be a crossover, but you can put a dance beat to it, and now it's crossing over.
And that's why you gotta have a DJ pack. You know what I mean? But like I said, to answer your question,
Did you hear that?
It's a two-way street. Because there's DJs who say that they break records but don't know what that means. And you have artists who are like, I don't need a DJ, and they don't know what that means. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street. The DJ needs the artist needs the DJ. If that's the level that you're on. Because not every DJ nowadays cares about pushing artist music. It just is what it is, you know what I mean? So as an artist, you have to find the DJs who has a radio show.
Right.
Make sure that his radio show has listeners. That's a whole nother topic. But make sure the radio station that they're on actually has a listenership. Because just because somebody has a radio show or radio station don't mean anybody's listening.
Let me tell you something. I kind of had to explain that to somebody. I had an artist come to me, and he was like, "Yo, man, I'm not gonna mention any of these people's names. I don't want to blow your spot." But I had an artist come to me like, "Yo, I'm going down, my boy and I got invited to such and such and I'm like, "Bruh, that radius is like 2 blocks, and no one's even listening in those 2 blocks."
Or at that time of that show.
Or at that time of that show, that's not even a time that people are really engaged in radio. You know what I mean?
There's a big name DJ in New York City. I ain't gonna say his name, but he has a late night where he claims to tell the artist, "Oh, well, send your music because if it's registered, it'll get royalties and spins." And it's like, bro, from 12 to 5 a.m., nobody, SoundScan, nobody is scanning from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning any music from artists. So you're not getting any credit or royalty spins.
Is that a fact? Is that a real fact? No, you just told me something. I didn't know that. Like from midnight to 5?
You can look it up. It's like if it's not 12 to 5, it's like 11. It's a block. It's like 11 to 5 or like 11 to 6.
I want to say
somewhere in the middle, in the midst of the middle of the night.
I feel like once hit midnight,
while everybody's sleeping.
The horse carriage goes back to a pumpkin.
Right, but and that's the problem with the DJ and the artist, because then what happens is, as an artist, and I've seen it happen, they'll work with certain DJs. And because either the DJ took the money that they weren't supposed to take to play their music and whatnot, and the artist didn't see any residual or any influence from it, now he doesn't want to work with any other DJs because he's got so much of a bad taste in his mouth from the 5 or 6 DJs he gave $100 a piece to. Now he comes across an actual DJ who can platform, and the price may be now $300 or $400 because that DJ can get you on FM, can get you Billboard placement, can get you all this stuff, but you already got burned so many times by lower level DJs.
Right.
So, the whole system, the whole shit needs to be repaired because, especially with social media, it's so easy now. Like, yo, Ab, book me. Why? Well, I got 121K followers on my Instagram. And if you don't, if you don't know the business, it's like,
there's
okay,
a lot of people
let me see your Instagram.
Like
so I'm in clubs behind my man's DJ booth because he's the one that actually booked, but I make it look like I'm lit, and people do this. It's crazy. Like, people do this stuff. You know what I mean? So on my Instagram, it looks like I'm lit. So now you give me $1,000 a DJ. I come to your party and everybody's sitting down asleep.
Wow. That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
So speaking of like the 300s and the 400s, how do you decide what you're gonna charge people for the most part?
I ain't gonna hold you. When I first got into radio and whatnot, I was following the powers that be that put me on.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a while. When I was on Desert Storm and other radio stations, I would have a package.
Mm-hmm.
But as I started to actually learn the business, to this day, the only thing I actually charge is radio interviews, marketing, billboard campaigns, the magazine placement. I'm not charging artists to play their music.
Yeah, you're never charging artists to play the music. Right.
I'm not. And I'm not gonna sit and lie and say I never did that, but I was doing that because those in front of me, that was a process that was taught to me.
Right.
Now, when I started to actually learn on my own and do the research, I'm like, oh wait, what's payola? I kept hearing all these conference calls on Fleet. Nerd
yeah, because
DJs,
it became a thing because people started getting fined.
DigiWax, and I'm hearing this payola. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go look into this payola thing.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you're really not supposed to. And then my homeboy, who was a DJ in Brooklyn one day, was like, yo, I saw, congratulations on the radio. This is what I meant. I was doing at one point I was doing like 16 radio shows, which I don't understand how I did that. That was crazy.
I don't know what
that was crazy. That was crazy. I literally had 16 radio shows at one point. But he's like, yo, congratulations, but I just want to kind of give you a heads up because you got all these platforms, you're gonna be a target. You're charging to play artist music, like you can't do that. So I'm like, all right, I was a little arrogant, like, all right, bro, I hear you. I'm gonna take your advice. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me sit down and really look at this payola thing. I'm like, oh wait, you really are not supposed to.
You seen the real
to do it. So I said, okay, well let me switch it up because y'all not coming after me once I get to a certain platform. Right. So yeah, so now it's just like, listen, you want to work with me? Here's my package. You know what I mean? I'll play your stuff for free. But as far as the promotion and the platforms and stuff like that, yeah, there's a fee for it because, there's nothing free in this,
I gotta
this
eat.
business. You know what I mean?
I'm working here.
So,
and you have to turn it into a business. So, let's pivot a little bit. With the climate of music being the way that it is right now currently, does that affect what type of music you play? With a lot of like the deaths that's been happening and stuff like that. Like, does it factor into the music that you want to play?
It's business. So I was telling somebody the other day, it wouldn't be available if it wasn't a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm more when it comes to DJing events, I'm more of like party, old school. I've done country festivals, I've done EDM, stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of the heavy trap, but I'm not a big fan of heavy pop. If you put me in a club and it's pop music all night long, I'm losing my mind. If you put me in a club, it's reggae all night long, I'm losing my mind.
Right.
I have to have a little bit of everything.
I feel the same.
But when it comes to like radio, I'm blessed to have multiple different radio shows. So
now let's talk about that. What current platforms are you on now?
Oh man, I'm on Blaze One Radio out of Atlanta. I'm on WSRE.
No, don't go too quick. So Blaze One, what time is your Blaze One?
Tuesdays and Saturdays, 8 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
Then I'm on WSRE. That's also in Atlanta on Fridays from 8 to 9. Thursday nights from 7 to 8, I'm on LA Live 105.5. Saturdays, it's 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., but it's 12 to 1 Eastern.
Right.
And then I'm on Dirty South Radio on Tuesdays from 11 to 1 p.m. And I think that's it for right now.
Yeah.
And
now, are they all BDS?
No.
Or just some of them?
4 out of the 5 are BDS. And then September 29th, my birthday, I'm relaunching CEO Radio Network, which is BDS and whatnot.
I'm about to tap in with you for my single release.
And then I got to the point, like I said, at one point I was doing like 16 radio shows. And some people were like, yo, that's dope. And then, my advisors and other people who I look to for advice are like, yo, bro, like, that's a lot. but it's like sometimes too much
Right.
is too much.
Yes.
And
Talk
for
about
like 3 years, it was a struggle because I'm like, all right, I got all these radio shows, these stations. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I've been dedicated to all these stations, but who do I cut? And then that's where I started asking the question. I started hitting up the program. I said, yo, listen, in order to keep my show, I need either a weekly listenership report or a monthly.
There we go.
And what ended up happening was certain station programs, I was like, oh, I don't either know how to do that or we don't do that. So it was made an easy process of elimination.
Because you can't tell me if this is worth my time.
Right.
You can't tell me if I'm DJing for 10 people
right.
or I'm DJing for 10,000 people. Right.
And we're just in an era where it's like perception is the biggest push.
Yes.
And I'm not old. You know what I mean? I'll be 39 in September. I don't consider myself old yet. You know what I mean? I'm like Jordan in his prime that just came back. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like I try to tell people, like, when it comes to advertising and sponsorship, how can I ask you for $1,500 a month to sponsor my show if I can't prove that people are listening?
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of, especially internet independent radio stations. And I'm not, I mean, I'm gonna go through the whole list, but it's a fad where it's like, oh, I got the #1 station in my city. And then you get the report, but then, you know, what reports you send me, we've been in this game long enough, you know how to call the FAA and certain companies and be like, hey, because it's public, everything is public record.
Right.
So once your report comes out, like even if you're broadcasting off a Live 365, I can go to Live 365 and be like, hey, for Boston Jazz 90 whatever on Live, yo, can I get the listenership report?
There it is.
And then all you gotta do is look. You know what I mean? This station, we get 200,000 listeners a week. Okay, so why are you still recording out of your kitchen if you got 200,000 listeners a week?
Yeah, I just experienced something recently where somebody tried to compare my show to their situation.
But that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, but they were lying. But
it's but see, that's the thing, though. I learned
and all it did was give me more exposure.
But guess what? I learned something. I need you to compare my stuff to yours.
No, it was good that he did
because it lets me know I'm on the radar, whether your thing is real or not.
That's exactly the conversation I had with him.
The fact that you're trying to compare my I would say my little bubble, like Lee CO and his little bubble. Because listen, my little bubble may not look like Walt Disney World, but it's Six Flags. You know what I mean? It's Six Flags. I can get on all my rides for free and don't have to wait online. But it's like I need you to compare your situation to mine because the fact that you took time out your day to come over here look at my stuff, I know I'm not that far off from hitting the pinnacle.
Because he respected my platform, but he was trying to lie about his numbers and then base it again, say, oh well, I got more than this guy and they're official, they're real radio, and I'm over here doing this.
But see that's why people. Oh gosh.
But he was lying about his numbers.
And it's okay because it's this I call them social media babies.
Right.
Because back when, you know, we were growing up and. I'm thankful for, you know, I mean, Melodic and Mellow Dream Entertainment, Mellow Dream Radio, my Uncle Tim, Forrest One, all them, because that's how I learned the radio game.
Right.
Like, they were like the first in Harlem to, like, do internet radio. Like, I remember being, you know, I mean, 13, 14, 15 years old, and it was like, yo, if you're coming into the radio station, then you're coming in.
Right.
And as soon as we hit this live button, don't touch the phone. Don't do nothing because back then, if you took the phone off, like that cut the internet connect. You know what I mean? Like that's how far. That's how far back.
That's throwback.
You know what I mean?
That's throwback.
Like
you came a long way,
bro. I'm telling you, like
you came a long way. You was AOL.
We was in the trenches for real when it came to this.
You was dial up. You was on dial up.
Exactly. and that's what it was. It was like, yo, listen, there was no retakes and whatnot because we didn't have the technology back then. So it was like, yo, we're doing a live show. So as a DJ, and I remember my first time doing a live radio show was in the station. I didn't know that they were gonna throw me on the air. We were talking about this other day when I was in the city. They threw me. They're like, "Yo, nephew, since you're here, you're gonna do 2 hours."
Right.
Oh wait, I'm a DJ 2 hours live on the nah, y'all playing. And literally, they sat behind me, heckling me for 2 hours. But because there wasn't like Pro Tools and stuff like that, where you can kind of, you know what I mean, do the show and then kind of edit. And so if you made a mistake, it's like, listen, brush it off and, you know, keep going.
Right.
But like I said, that's why when people like, I'm blessed to have the upbringing in the industry.
Now with all of this, like your history, you got years managing artists, like officially.
I will never, ever go back into management. No. Mm-mm. No.
You hear that?
I do.
Y'all better start treating y'all managers right, man.
Nah,
I turn in the good ones off.
Nah, I mean, shout out like Bez Aloha.
Yeah, shout out Bez.
Shout out Rockstar Riz. You know what I mean? Shout out Constantine Cali.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, it's just, I know me.
Right.
And to be a manager, you have to really be okay with like putting your stuff on the shelf.
I mean, let's talk about it. It's like a marriage.
To push the artist's thing.
It's literally like a marriage. Like when your wife comes home and she expects all your attention.
Right.
It's got all your attention's got to be given.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is. And it is a sacrifice of your time. And then sometimes the artist doesn't warrant that level of attention. They're not working hard enough. They're not matching your energy. Yeah. You're creating all these opportunities for them, and they're not delivering. And it's like, and over time, it's gonna wear thin. And then you're going to want to start falling back, or they're going to start trying to evaluate, say you're not good enough because they're not where they're supposed to be. But really, no, it's not meant for you sometimes. Sometimes it's just not meant for you. Like spiritually, it's not in the cards for you to be a superstar. That is not what God has designated your purpose to be. That's first off. Secondly, you might not be working hard enough, grinding hard enough, putting up enough money. You know what I mean? You're not ready. You're not ready.
Well, to piggyback off your first,
yes.
As far as the superstar thing,
yeah.
I don't think it's the superstar piece. I think people just get so caught up into, I want to do what Drake did, or I want to do what Eminem did.
What a superstar's doing.
But it's like,
do you know what he did before this though?
Right.
That's the question.
But the thing is just like I tell people all the time, if you take like basketball, right? You got certain guys who make it to the NBA. Maybe ride the bench 10 years, but the average bench player makes like $1 million just to show up to practice.
Right.
But then you have guys who go on to workouts and like, you know what? It might be a stretch for me to make the NBA, but I can take my talents over to FIBA and play an extra 10 years because the season's shorter.
Right.
The money kind of balances out.
Because you're going to make it over a longer period of time.
You know what I mean? You're going to get some endorsements. You know what I mean? And
right.
I'm good. So
they want the Hollywood version of success.
But the problem is they don't understand the business. And what happens is the media has a way to like F up your vision.
Yeah.
So
they're misleading you. They're lying to you.
I tell artists all the time, it's like, listen, do you know how many guys that I know personally that have toured Europe that still do it? There's like 3 in the 518 that do it consistently. And they still go to the hospital or their office to do the 9 to 5. But their royalty check is still six figures.
Right.
Not everybody is, and then it's like you got to figure out: do you want to be a major artist, which to me is almost like death,
right?
Because you know my little backstory with dealing with the major part, or who says you can't be a superstar in the independent?
Absolutely.
Look at Tech Nine. You know
right.
what I mean? There's
still killing
right.
it.
There's a lot of
millions
people.
A year.
There's a lot of people who make $100,000 a year as an independent artist. The problem is, like my grandma and my dad used to tell me, and I was a kid, and maybe 10 years ago it finally clicked. Maybe 5. I'm probably exaggerating, but they said there's a reason why they put blinders on the horse during the race. And I'm like a kid, like I ain't never been to a racetrack a day in my life. But then when I started getting to casinos, I'm like. And a horse, I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Because you take the blinders off the horse, they can't run it, they can't stay focused on the race. And the problem is, people don't want to focus on their own race.
Right. They're too busy looking at what everybody else is doing and comparing that and trying to say, well, this is where I should be, or this is what. Like I deal with that now, even with like doing the season now. Like nobody won't be really checking. Like I always have people that check on me, but then there's like it'll be quiet. It'll like what I mean. Like my I'm always live, but when I say quiet for me,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, as soon as I start filming the next level podcast, then all of a sudden everybody, bro, I've been here 10 years and you didn't tap in. What did you think I was doing before? Like you could have been, you'd be somewhere else if you understood the value of this platform, of the consistency of being able to have your music rotating, interviews constantly, things of that nature. And they're only judging the value now because they see someone else in this spot, in this chair.
Well, that's where we're at now.
They're not ahead of the curve.
But that's where we're
They're
at
behind.
now.
By the time you see them, it's already too late.
But that's where we're at now. So now it's like, especially like with social media. That's why I say your social media based, because back in the day, you know what I mean, you had to go work under an OG. Whether
right.
I mean, it didn't matter if you were a cameraman, DJ, whatever it is, garbage man, whatever it is that you want to be, you had to go work under somebody.
A mentor.
You know what I mean? And then they put you to test. Then you got your stamp.
Right. Now everybody's leaping over that process.
People today will be like, oh, he's got 2 cameras and an umbrella with a light bulb. Let me go to Amazon and find something similar. Let me look at a couple of reviews. A couple of photographers like this one and the little lamp with the light bulb. Now, you know what? My brother is expecting a baby, so I'm gonna take this stuff to the baby shower. Oh, bro, don't pay the photographer. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you got one baby shower underneath you. Now you're on Facebook talking about you're a professional. Oh, I shoot in 20K. 20K don't even exist yet. But what do you what are we doing?
So let's scale it back a little bit. I want to talk about like when you're DJing and you're doing a set. How do you engage with your audience to keep them entertained during your sets?
Oh my mic game is probably the.
Of course.
You know, I mean, my mic game is probably what makes me Mr. CEO. And then you just gotta know how to, you know what I mean, read the room. I'm big on energy. I'm big on being a people person. I'm big on paying attention. And I used to prep sets.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get to like the Rock or somewhere, and every set I prep, not one person that walked through the doors of the venue wanted to hear that set.
Right.
So I got to the point where I was like, you know what?
Play to the audience.
I'm not gonna prepare sets. I'm gonna work on music. I'm gonna keep my folders organized. And I'm gonna take them on a journey. I mean, the first couple of stops on this bus is the warm up, and then if I started at 9, by 10:30 10 o'clock we in party mode.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because you just gotta know how to read the room.
What's your favorite style to blend? Like, what genres of styles of music do you like?
I like to actually, hip hop and R&B, honestly.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? If you take a classic hip hop beat, or even, a new trap beat, and put it behind like some Fantasia, some Jill Scott, or some Common. I've done some Bobby Smurder with some Queen.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean? I actually lost I
want to hear that.
I was at Glens Falls. They put me in a DJ battle, and I used that as my final. We will rock you for Queen with Bobby Smurder. Hot. And,
that's mean.
And apparently, I lost that. And the funny thing is, it was friendly competition, but the other DJ brought this big 21-inch Apple TV, and was using virtual DJ and YouTube, and I brought my whole 12s, like my turntables, and everybody's like, "Yo, you got chest?" Listen, I'm lit, y'all lit. We in this bar having a good time.
Apple TV, YouTube setup. Stop playing, bro.
But no, that's all. I
don't know if this is gonna be the answer, if you just answered or not. But what would you say is one of your most memorable events that you've DJ'd at, and what made it stand out for you?
Oh, most memorable. Right now, to this day, probably the most memorable one would be. Oh, that's a good question. Probably the country festival
Mm-hmm.
down in Texas.
Right.
Because it was in Granbury. Never heard of the place. I was the only black person.
Yeah.
And
Only
like
me.
the whole Granbury's like 2 hours south of Dallas, and literally like 6 miles from like the Mexican border. And they had this festival on this private property, and the Ku Klux Klan was right across the street.
Woo!
And then there was a couple of meth labs down like it was.
Wait, where was this at?
Granbury, Texas.
Okay, so I know where not to go.
It was but listen, I'm not gonna hold you. Some of the best barbecue food ever, and like when I tell you this, the ribs was falling off the bone, good.
Right, but you gotta get it out of there with that barbecue.
Right. Oh, well, listen.
Waiting for you.
Listen, you know what I mean? Shout out to the sheriff deputies and the security and whatnot.
Yeah, they knew they had to take care of you.
It was the most memorable because like I didn't know what to expect. It was a country festival. It was kind of country, a little bit of rock.
Wait, so somebody booked you for this anyway?
I got booked
knowing what you was going through?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got booked for it, and up until the first night, I had no clue what I was gonna play in between the bands. And one of the bikers, he came up to me, he was like, "Hey, what's your phone number?" And I'm like, huh? He's like, "Yeah, me and my wife want to play a game with you." And I'm like, y'all want to play a game? So I'm like, all right. He's like, my wife's gonna text you a song request. Every song that you have and you play, she's gonna make you her margarita concoction. So I'm like, oh, liquor.
Oh, they done got you now.
So I'm like,
they done told you about to drink.
So I'm like, all right. So he goes back. So I'm going in my folder with country and rock. So I'm waiting for these requests to come in. Bro, when I tell you the first 10 songs, after the 10 songs, I was singing 4 laptops.
Of course you were.
The first 10 songs was Warren G. Regulate, NWA Outlaws, Tupac California Love, Ice Cube.
You were like too easy.
Ice Cube's, was it Too Deep? One of Ice Cube's joints. Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice. And by the time I got to what's his name? West Coast Connections, I'm already seeing. I only have 1 laptop. I'm starting to see 2 because it was sponsored by Colorado Hemp Vodka.
Oh, so
Heineken,
enough to go around for everybody.
So this shout out to Colorado Hemp Vodka because it's this vodka infused with marijuana.
Wow.
So that's what she was making the margaritas with. Now, I'm not really a smoker. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm good when I'm DJing drinking. But if you give me marijuana while I'm DJing, I become the most peaceful soul in the in the room. And I start to kind of like mellow out and forget that I'm even supposed to be DJing.
Wow.
But yeah, that was because, like I said, it was like a culture shock. Because, and I love all types of music. I mean, I remember being a little kid and at the Pepsi Arena, the Knickerbocker.
Yeah.
They had
MVP now.
Yeah, they had Tony Braxton and Garth Brooks.
Right.
So my sister dragged me because I was too young to stay in the house. But I was a big Garth Brooks fan. So I got to see while they were doing the Tony Braxton. I'm just sitting there, and then it was Kenny G.
Right. So what would you say is your favorite venue to DJ, or do you have a favorite venue at this point?
At this point, I would have to say the arena because of the X. Well, no, it would be the Capitol Center for the Expo. I didn't really have the greatest experience with the MVP arena, but shout out to them anyway. But I don't really.
It's hard up here because a lot of the venues is gone now too.
Yeah, but for me, it's like as long as I'm blessed to be booked, wherever I'm going that night or that day is my favorite venue for that moment. So
let's get a little bit personal. How has being a DJ affected your personal life? And is it hard for you to stay in any type of relationship, being that you're always traveling? Like even the schedule that you just told me that you got going on that even got you here to where you're going now, it's like, are you able to sustain a relationship?
Well, shout out to my new relationship because
new meaning there was other ones and now that was another and now there's the new because she's the new
because what I've learned over these years, you know what I mean, communication is big, but also having somebody that understands what your passion is.
Right. Keyword passion.
But at the same time, previous relationships, I wasn't the greatest partner to have either, because
keep it honest.
Being a DJ in the limelight and being outside, talk about it. And then DJing. But
you're worse than an artist.
But no,
you're worse than a rap
because
artist.
the problem is you're
gonna be busier than them.
As a DJ, you have DJ brothers,
right,
who are thoughts. So because they're outside thought, and now all DJs are male thoughts and female thoughts. So
it's true. I just know that
all DJs get grouped
I just know
together.
that when you're DJing and someone's really passionate about the music that they're hearing from you, now that passion can translate to them at your stand right there.
Oh, listen,
and now they don't leave.
There's a big difference.
They're touching you, and you're like, yo, somebody get the drunk chick.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, I've learned to kind of know how to maneuver that. So it's like I have a great support system. So if someone steps out of line, we have security for that. And then too, I've gotten real good at the logistics part. So it's like knowing what dates are coming up, knowing what the travel's gonna be, what's the hotel look like, what's the itinerary,
right?
And I've gotten real good at having a checklist, and just I'm 38, about to be 39. I've been DJing since I was 15 in the house. I came outside as a professional DJ like 2004.
It's a long time. It was 20 years.
So you make it, for me, I'm blessed because I can hold myself accountable and say I made my mistakes early.
So this is what I want to say before you answer the question. I want to really poise it. What advice would you give to an aspiring DJ who's starting out their career?
Make sure this is what you want to do. Make sure this is what you want to do. Get a regular job first, because I'm technically speaking a full-time DJ, and this is not easy. I've had years where I made a lot of money, and I had some years where it was like my pride wouldn't let me. Oh, Burlington's hiring. Nah, you CEO, you can't go get this 9 to 5 because you're Mr. CEO. You're a full-time DJ.
Right.
It's like, but I gotta take care of bills.
Oh, you get it right. It's a tough balance.
But
it's a tough balance between because if you're constantly being pulled away to perform, it's hard to get a job that's going to accept that.
What I learned, it's not hard to get pulled away to go perform. It's learning what your value is, because see, what happened was I always DJed in the house, and then in 2005, shout out to the Valentine's music hall. So I would do a showcase at Valentine's before Albany Med bought the whole area.
The whole block, the whole
So I used to do a
neighborhood.
showcase Friday at Valentine's. Then I would go to North Carolina and Raleigh and do a showcase there. And then drive that up Sunday to Brooklyn and do a showcase there.
But that's like your week of work. That's what I mean.
But what happened was, so my associate of mine started DJing. So I said, yo, I see that you're DJing. I'm looking for a DJ because I can't do all these shows, travel, DJ, not. And he wanted to charge me like he was Master Flex. So he's like, yeah, for you, I'll be your road DJ for like $1,800 a show. And I'm like, well, how much you getting paid for baby showers? Oh, well, they pay me about $1,000. So I'm like, not to be funny. So I'm like, you literally have to wait for one of your friends to get pregnant and have this baby shower to get booked.
Wow.
So I said, well, I got turntables and DJ equipment in the house. If you're making that much and you're just starting, I've been DJing since, 1998. Oh, I'm out. So I started DJing my own showcase. So shout out to Nettie Cartel, promoter in Raleigh. So we did a show one night in Raleigh, and she came to me while I was DJing. She's just like, yo, like, you booked the venue, you got the caterer, you ain't got the liquor, you got the magazines to come out, you booked the artist, you booked the photographer, da-da-da. And it was 2 artists I was managing at the time, and somebody else standing next to me behind the DJ booth. She was like, yo, you got to stop putting Nubian on flyers.
Right.
Like, you got to have a DJ name. Everyone's like, yo, we've been trying to tell him for a whole, 6 months he need a DJ name. Because I used to just put music by Nubian Lawrence. Like, I'm just like, I'm not doing all that. So she's like, yo, they gotta call you Mr. CEO because you do everything. And everybody's just like, yo.
So there it is. I didn't even have to ask you what the name comes
I knew
from.
I knew.
Finally got to that point. Finally got
so
there.
that's where the Mr. CEO came from, because you know.
So let me, and then I'm gonna go into the final segment. What do you envision for the future of DJing? Well, how do you see the future? Is there something that you would like to see for the scene?
I would like to see the new people who are getting. I'm glad. I mean, with the technology, makes it easier to get into, and I appreciate that part. But I would really like and a lot of people do it. Not everybody, but I feel like if you're gonna get into DJing, just like photography or radio or whatnot, I really feel like you should appreciate the culture, learn the culture, understand the history of the culture. You know what I mean? How it started. You know what I mean? The whole process of where we are to when you decide to be a DJ. Like, I'm not against I'm not here to tell anybody they can't be a DJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just like understand the culture, learn the culture, appreciate what it means to be a DJ. As far as that, besides new equipment and new technology, you know, they're talking about we're going to get replaced by robots and all that nonsense. And to this day, they always say the equipment's going to replace the DJ. I have yet to see it.
So the equipment's going to replace.
I doubt.
Don't see it.
I don't see it.
I mean, that's a jukebox.
Know why I say it's not going to happen? You go to Walmart, you got more issues with the self checkout machine than you do the cashier at the register.
That's a fact.
So I know for a fact we're not going to get replaced by DJ Jetson.
Right.
You know.
Right. No, you're right. I don't think we got to really worry about that. So we're going to go into the final segment. It's called This or That. So I'm just going to throw some stuff out there and you just tell me one or the other. J-Lo or Shakira?
Shakira.
Taraji P or Megan Good?
Oh, gosh. Dang. Those are my turntable names. Taraji and Megan. Oh, gosh. I can't do both. That's literally the names of my turntable.
Wow,
Taraji and Megan.
Called it.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I gotta go down the middle.
I'm on it. You got to name one.
Oh, gosh. All right. I'm going to go with Taraji.
Okay. That's nothing wrong with that. TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Denzel Training Day or Al Pacino Scarface?
Al Pacino Scarface.
Goodfellas or The Godfather?
Oh, Goodfellas.
Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Gold or platinum?
Platinum.
Do you like home cooked meals or eating out?
I now like home cooked meals.
Would you rather perform at a small, intimate venue for diehard fans or a huge stadium for a massive audience?
The intimate.
Yeah. Would you rather collaborate with an established artist who is outside of your genre or a rising star who shares your style of music?
Outside.
Okay. Would you rather go viral on social media or gain critical acclaim through traditional media outlets?
Traditional media outlets.
Kanye or Drake?
Yeezy.
I heard it. Pac or Big?
Big.
MJ or Prince?
Oh, gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Prince.
Good answer. Winter or summer?
Oh, summer. We outside.
If you could go in the past and meet your ancestors, or the future and meet your great-grandchildren, which one would it be?
I got to pay homage to the ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Henny or Grey Goose?
Grey Goose.
More time or more money?
Time.
Without the internet for a week or without your phone for a week?
Internet.
Lose your vision or your hearing?
Vision.
Batman or Spider-Man?
Batman.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Money or love?
Love.
Would you rather make a call or text?
Make a call.
Yeah, you old school. You already know.
Because if I text you and you take it the wrong way, now I'm in a whole new beef.
Context, right? The context. Right, now it's true. If you had to choose being wealthy and stable for life or doing music and struggling, what would you choose?
Wealthy and stable.
Mm-hmm. Lose all the money you earned this year or lose all the memories you gained?
I'll keep the memories.
Right. Know the date of your death or the cause of your death?
Cause.
A long career of good music or one hit record?
Long career.
And I'm gonna end it with this one. Be married to someone good looking that doesn't think you're attractive, or be married to someone but ugly that thinks you're gorgeous?
Married to the one that appreciates me.
That means he's going ugly.
Listen, I learned something. I rather appreciation over anything else.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean?
Listen, CEO, man. Appreciate you, brother, man. You know what I mean? It was great having you come down and us being able to chop it up and really, go through it, man, and for you to make the season. And I'm looking forward to the launch party.
Definitely.
Mr. CEO will be at the launch party, so we'll be back. This is coming soon, man.
Definitely coming back.
Yes, sir, man. But listen, as always, man, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. We're about to go to the Block Giants Raw and Uncut, how we do. And I just want to thank once again my guest, Mr. CEO, for the next level, man. And what's the future? What's the end game for DJ Mr. CEO?
Oh man, the end game is family, love, success, and peace and appreciation.
Yes, sir. So this is Mr. Everyday, man. We just wrapping up the set. And we got Block Giants Raw and Uncut Encore coming up next, man. But as I do each and every week, man, I want to wish you and yours a peaceful and safe journey through life. Yes, sir. We out here. Don't forget it. Mr. Everyday's on everything. You already know.